we've had our fun.
You guys hear me?
Today?
Yep.
Coolio, how's it going, you guys?
Yo, did you like rub, like a lucky stone yesterday? That today felt crazy, man. Like you were.
Yeah, I mean, apparently the first game was just very wild. I
Yeah.
think the first game was kind of, it set the tone of the match. Obviously the third game was kind of weird even at the end apparently, but yeah, I think it was a very wild game. Probably I was losing maybe, then I was winning for probably like 5 to 6 moves, then I was losing again, and then I think it was maybe a draw. But it was pretty much a matter of who made the last blunder, and I thought it was a very inspired choice from Liem to get to that point. So yeah, I was able to win that first game. And I mean, I think after that, it wasn't smooth, obviously, in the third game, but I think it still would have been very difficult for him to win 2 in a row.
I was wondering, the first game, I think I haven't been as entertained. I saw even on Twitter, the chat was obviously going wild. And I was wondering, how do you feel when you're in the game? Because I think it's more like you can't really enjoy it as we do, as the fans. But how do you keep your focus, and what goes through your mind in such a crazy game?
Yeah, I mean, I think the main thing is trying to play good moves, but I played I wouldn't say that it's the moves I played were bad, but I was very unhappy with my time management. I felt I made a lot of moves way too quickly, rather than considering the other options. Even apparently this rook takes h7. I think I played this rather quickly too. Whereas there's this rook e6 b6 line apparently that's that's winning for me. Now I'm not saying I would have found it necessarily, but I had considered like b6 for example. I saw the idea right after I played queen a1. So like, I should have thought about b6 even there before playing queen a1, because I played queen a1 really fast, and so I'm like, wait, but maybe I had b6, and like I just felt like I was moving too quickly. Maybe it was the nerves or something, but I felt like I was playing way too quickly at a lot of these critical moments. My microphone is good, right, you guys?
Yeah,
I can hear you fine.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
no, someone said wrong microphone, so yeah.
No, you might have to just eat it.
Oh.
Because I think
I'm right by it though. I have it right on me. So anyway,
Fiona's got a powerful microphone.
Yeah, no, but I think the thing is that kind of well, the first thing is here I should have gone king d6 and made the draw, like any sane person. But for some reason I forgot he could go queen. I just forgot that after queen that he could go queen g5. So like I would have gone king d6 and it would have been a normal draw, but instead I thought, well, I go king d8, and I forgot in that split second that on king c7 there's rook c1, and then I'm like, oh man, and I guess I'm very lucky that after queen g5 I'm not lost somehow, but it was very, very, very shaky, very up and down.
That's actually another question I have, even out of my own curiosity, because obviously when we watch, especially games that are this crazy, we rely a lot on seeing the bar, go up and down and to the middle again and back and forth. And do you think almost in these terms, because obviously you don't know the evaluation, but do you think, I think I'm winning now, oh, I think I blundered, like how do you think?
I guess you know what I would say? I was very happy when Liem played e4, because I had a feeling there was probably some way. I mean, I haven't looked at the game yet, but I feel like without e4, there's probably some slow way where he was just winning. Because after e4, bishop d4, maybe it's winning for white, but I think the pressure is on white, not on black. And when you consider the fact that I already won the first match yesterday, I think it puts a lot of pressure on him to find all the right moves. And so yeah, it's very choppy. I think I felt the first time that I thought I would. And this probably is the issue, is that psychologically, I thought after I played queen a1, he couldn't play rook e1. So that was the first moment when I blitzed out queen a1, because I didn't think he could play rook e1. So I thought there I already was drawing, if not more. I thought I'd have to go king e2, king f1 back, and then I get to think. And then sort of after he played this e5, queen h4, I panicked a little bit, because I thought after e5, he would have to queen, and I take the rook and take his queen. And I have 2 rooks and a knight for his queen and a bishop, and that should be winning. Sorry, not queen h4, queen h6. But yeah, I mean, I guess rook e6 here is winning again. I mean, I think it's kind of an insane move to find. But I do think I still should have maybe considered it. Like, as crazy as it is, I still think if I had spent like a minute or like 90 seconds, because I was up on the clock here, maybe I find this idea anyway. So yeah, I mean, this would have been a very beautiful way to win. Although again, I mean, how I don't know how clean this is after like queen g7, bishop a6, king g1, takes king h2, because 2 queens are still powerful. Although I guess my king is just very safe here, right? Just queen f2 even.
Certainly would have been there was another line much earlier. If he did not play e4, if he just took your rook and you took his rook, h7, queen b2, h8, like this line where you get...
Well, no, wait a second. No, Levy, go back. Can you go back? I thought here he had bishop g5. He doesn't have bishop f7 there? Queen e8, bishop g5, bishop f7? Or do we get the same line with like bishop e7 and I mean, maybe we get some kind of line where it's a draw or something. I mean, I really have no idea. But I wasn't sure if he took the rook, if I should take that rook or if I should take b2 first.
Right.
But I mean, it's wild, obviously. The whole thing is completely insane.
Yeah.
But again, I won the first match yesterday, so so it worked out.
There's also queen e7. Oh my god, king e7, queen e8.
Yeah, unfortunately, Levy, it sounds like Norway finally has figured out how to add me on Skype after failing for like 4 days in a row. So I'm probably gonna have to jump out very, very shortly, you guys. So if I randomly have to jump out, I'll jump out and then I'll come back in. So
No
I think I have to
worries.
go right now. Okay.
Okay.
We'll see you later.
Yeah, I'll be back. Don't worry. I'll be back.
All right, I will have to go back to our two-board overlay. Wait, does the other one have the wrong... Okay, there's no name tags on the other one. Well, I don't think this game is going to go too much longer.
No. I mean, Magnus is just so good in these controlled settings. By the way, I never realized how powerful my mic, because I don't do too many since I came home. I haven't done, so maybe one day I should fix lower the volume a bit, especially because, as I said, I shout. I never talk, I just shout all the time.
No, it's all good. We all have different microphones. Hikaru's is like designed for podcasts, so you can talk very loud into it and it will just suppress it and sound normal. Mine is fine unless I yell into it, but I also have a compressor to stop that from happening.
Which mic do you have? I thought I had...
I have a mic that like no one has. It's called M Audio Uber.
Okay.
And
because then I probably have the same as Hikaru, I guess, like the Shure, whatever it's called.
That's yours too?
Yeah, the SM7B, like. But maybe because I have the thing, you know, with the settings, I have it under the desk, and I wonder if I kicked it one time. And I wonder if I messed up the settings of the gain or something. So either that or the mic is too close. I'll put it away a bit.
Well, Hikaru's is always too quiet, so maybe that's all it is. Maybe your gain is just I don't know. I don't know this stuff. I mean, I upgraded my camera. I didn't upgrade my in the new place. I will probably have a better setup, but here, okay, this is gonna be a draw. There's no hope here. Boys, just repeat moves. There is 0 chance that Rajabov wins this against Magnus.
Yeah, and it's gonna be quite a short day tonight. I'm quite happy. I'm gonna go and watch some football. I saw earlier some talk in the chat. Do you follow football at all?
A little, but nowhere near as much as basketball or.
And by football, I mean soccer. Just to be clear.
Thanks. Yeah, trust me, we're the only country that calls it football and throws the ball. It's and hits each other with helmets and causes concussions. Yes. You know, I'm a big fan of the new Super League. That's really cool. I can't wait for that to start. That's gonna be amazing. So many strong teams.
I mean, that was such a farce, like such a joke.
Yeah, that was weird. That was weird indeed.
It was so short-lived. I've never seen anything like that. It's like one day, I barely even had time to wrap my head around, you know, what even is the Super League that everyone's on about. Was already off. So yeah.
Oh, it's not happening? What? Actually? Didn't know that. Wow. My favorite thing is when European superstars come to the United States. Like, I remember Ibrahimovic was here and they were interviewing him. Something about, like, other players. And
fun fact, I saw Ibrahimovic at a chess tournament. So at the Qatar Masters, Paris were doing their winter training camp in the same hotel where we were staying. And so one day, you know, we waited we waited around for them, and I got my little photo with Ibrahimovic, and I was quite happy.
Wow.
He is a legend. To be fair, he is a legend. Like, he is not a legend, not, well, also a legendary football player, but the stuff he comes up with is just like, I mean, you just gotta love, like, you gotta love the guy.
That's Ibrahimovic was supposed to be canceled recently. I remember. I don't know if the same in Europe. He said something along the lines of like to get into the hot, not to get too far into the hot subject, but he said something along the lines of like athletes should stick to, you know, playing the sport. They shouldn't get political. And everybody was like, oh, and I was like, bro, it's Ibrahimovic. Good luck. You know, best of luck.
Yeah, I saw that now that he might get also into trouble, but I mean, the guy always gets into trouble, some betting scandal, but it feels like he's above all of these things. Like, nothing can really, you know, nothing can really touch him. But yeah, this game looks like not too much is gonna be happening. I mean, there's literally no way Black can create anything.
Chat, any questions? Because we'll have to probably end the show pretty soon. This is the last game, and it ain't much of a game.
No, I'm curious. I hope they don't keep Hikaru too long. One of the last things that I'm curious about today is I wanted to ask him if he had a favorite. Maybe you guys asked him yesterday already. I don't know if he had a favorite between Schach and Levy, between Schach and Alireza.
Yeah, no, it's a good question. I don't know.
He's played Alireza so much recently online, but I'm sure he's played Schach plenty. They are just 2 years apart. They were born 2 years apart. So I'm curious if he had I'm not even sure he will tell us, but I'm curious to ask him.
Yeah, it's easy. It's easy to obviously be like, oh, it's Alireza. He's he's young superstar in the making, but I don't know how you can go against Schach. Someone said Levy will definitely get smocked by Schach. I don't know what smocking is. Is that like when you like put on like a thing to paint? Yes, that is a very fair take that Shahryar Mamedyarov would defeat me in a match. It's a hot take, admittedly, but I think it would be close. Let's put it this way. I would get as many wins against Shahryar as Alireza did, okay? That I will say. I will have exactly the same amount of wins. Maybe a draw here and there.
I mean, it was really a humbling match for Alireza. Of course, he will be back tomorrow. You know, he'll be crushing souls left, right, and center.
Yep.
But this one was, he's obviously one of the best players in the world. But obviously, I mean, he also probably had enough day. But I did not expect it to be this one-sided.
Yeah, I would be curious to get his thoughts. I mean, it's also just good, in a chess sense, you really don't want to ask a chess player, what happened, right? Like, we don't do that. I mean, some do, some of the most painful press conference moments ever. It's like, why'd you lose so badly? And I'd be very curious to know. I mean, normally we expect him to just melt some of these guys, so it's strange. Like, I see Alireza against just about anybody, 2 or 3 guys excluded maybe, and I'm like, I think he might be the favorite. But all good.
And yeah, I see in the chat there was a question: are we going into the semi? So yeah, tomorrow is the semifinals, and Hikaru will be taking on Shahryar Mamedyarov, who eliminated Alireza. That's what we were just talking about. And Levon made it through Wesley so very convincingly as well. We haven't talked about that so much, but very, very convincing. We touched a little bit on Wesley, so probably not being in his best shape. He'd been so solid so far in the tour, but the prelims as well as the knockouts, he was Not the Wesley so we've seen so far.
No, absolutely not. This guy's been a finalist like multiple times, and definitely unexpected. Chad, if you'd like us to talk about this position, it's just not really much to discuss. They're about to trade some pieces, and they're about to shake hands virtually. Apparently, the person whose face is on the KEKW emote passed away today.
I was seeing in the chat that they were talking about someone, and I didn't know who. He was the Spanish guy, right?
Yep.
That is sad. I remember when I first saw that interview, like, which was probably way before Twitch came to be. That is very sad. I mean, like, I could, like, just thinking of it, I'm like, yeah, sad times.
Wow. An internet icon.
Yeah.
When did it happen?
Yeah, good question. Let me see. From June. I mean, there's no freaking way I'll get there before chat is there.
No, chat. I don't mean when he passed away. I mean, yes, very clear that that's what you are saying. I'm saying, when did it become so popular on Twitch is my question.
I think 2007. No, that's something else.
That emote has been around that long? Oh, and he
2014, I think. No, the original video, it was in 2007. 2007, yeah, a long time.
Oh, the original video is quite old, yeah.
Yeah.
What video are you guys talking about?
About El Risistas. El Risistas, the guy from the KEKW emote. He died today.
That video. Yes, yes. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So that guy, he passed away today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a sad day.
Yeah.
So we can.
Yeah.
The people are writing KEKW. It's very tough because his actual face is a face of someone bursting out laughing.
Right. So. Exactly. Yeah.
But I think it's great, like, to be remembered, that way. Even, of course, it's sad, but he will continue making people happy, for a long time to come.
It's
right.
As far as I'm concerned, it's by far the more it's the superior emote to LOLW. I
think it's fabulous. I was thinking about that as well. Like I'm thinking, like, at some point, the fact that you can, that interview or just the emote, the fact that it lives on forever, like, that's just a testament to, like, how amazing that moment was. And that's kind of what, like, I think, like Twitch or interviews or, anything with social media, that's what it should be about. So, I think it will have a very lasting impact.
Yeah. Speaking of very lasting impacts, one player who has been around, we were talking earlier today, the 4 finalists look like Magnus about to get his ticket as well. It's going to be you, Magnus, Levon, Shach. You guys have all been around. I'm very much looking forward to your semifinal against Shach. And I was wondering, first question is, who would you rather have played? And you don't have to tell us, but I was curious, would you rather, play the young guard, Alireza, or Shach? Both, of course, tremendously strong players in their own right.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that I have a favorite. I think what I would say in general is that whether it's this match or just a tour in general, I do feel one thing that Alireza needs to work on is I feel like his nerves aren't the best, and against certain players, you definitely you can kind of get away with it. But I think if you look at the bigger picture of Alireza, not even at this specific match or this tour, but if he wants to be a contender for the World Championship one day, where he plays against like Magnus, let's just assume Magnus wins that match because that's not guaranteed. But let's just assume Magnus keeps winning. the thing is when you play against someone like Magnus, you have to be there in all respects. It's not just good moves. You have to have the nerves. You have to be very calm. You have to use the right amount of time. And so that is one thing that I think for Ali Reza going forward, he really does need to work on. Because I feel like even in his match yesterday, at certain moments, he just like, whether it was tactical, it wasn't tactical awareness or these little things. It felt like a bit of nerves to me.
How do you work on it?
I mean,
don't tell him, Hikaru. Don't tell him. Keep it secret.
I mean, I think it's very difficult. I think it's just, I think it's kind of probably experience more than anything. I think that's what it is really. It's just experience, I think. And he doesn't necessarily, I mean, he's getting a lot of experience, obviously, but he doesn't have the same level of experience as a lot of I would say every other player in this event who made it through the qualifiers. So I think just experience, and he'll get used to it, obviously.
Of course. And now we're looking forward to your match against Shach. You guys, you've both been around for a long time. I was looking, you were born just 2 years apart. So we've known each other a long time. And I think especially when you were younger, both of you were, so famous for playing this really exciting attacking chess. So how do you look forward to your match against Shach?
Yeah, I think the first time I ever played Shach over the board, maybe I'm wrong on this, but I think this is correct, was in this event called the Lausanne Young Masters in Switzerland. I think it was in 2004 or 2005. I don't remember which year it was. But we had this very intense match, and so we've obviously known each other for a very long time. We also played a match, I think maybe it was last week on chess.com. Those of you who aren't familiar with it, you can obviously go to my YouTube channel, GMHikaru, and find that match of Blitz that we played. So make sure to go there, make sure to subscribe as well. That's my little plug for the moment. But you can definitely check it out there. But Shaq and I, we've known each other so long. I mean, we've both been around the block, as they say, and it's just going to be a lot of fun to play. I mean, I would say Shaq and Timur, when I think about the players in the Champions Tour, are probably the people that I would consider myself, I wouldn't say closest to, but the people that like we have the most sort of common shared experiences. It feels like we're very much veterans, and so it's gonna be a lot of fun.
I'm sure it will be. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Maybe one final question for me. How do you feel your evolution compares, when you were younger? As I said, you're both very all-out attacking players. And how do you think that has evolved for both of you?
Yeah, I mean, I think, actually that applies to another player as well. That applies to Timur also. I think all three of us, actually, for that matter. It's when we were younger, we were very, very aggressive players. I think the thing is especially when you play very aggressively, it takes a lot of energy, and opponents are much better prepared now even than they were like 10, 15 years ago. The top GMs, I mean. So it's just one of those things where it just takes too much energy. And I think for me, one of those sort of defining moments was when Garry Kasparov was retired. I think it was maybe I don't know when it was, like 2010 or 2011. He played this match in Belgium against Nigel Short. I think he was retired at the time. Played this match. And I remember watching the games, and Garry was playing black, and Nigel played e4, and Garry played e5. And I was thinking to myself, how crazy is it that someone like Garry, who obviously played the Sicilian, played the Naito for his entire career, was playing e5 and not playing the Sicilian. I think it just speaks to how hard it is when your opponents are so well prepared against these very aggressive setups. And you could also say that applied to Maxime, the candidates as well, where he lost a game against Fabiano, where, I mean, basically it was all preparation. So it's just very hard to play like that. And I think as you get older, you become a little bit more pragmatic in some cases, and you try to play sort of different openings.
Well, I hope we'll see tomorrow and the day after. I hope we'll see some of that old Nakamura and
I think the thing that I would say, the good thing is that the one good thing is that since we're in the match format, you won't see quick draws. That's the one thing I will guarantee you of, is you won't see quick draws in that kind of a way. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. And I think Shaq is someone who I really haven't played him in the tour. I mean, I played him in this event, I think the last event as well, just in the qualification, but I haven't played him in any matches. So it's like one of the very few players in in this tournament where I haven't really played him outside of just the occasional game here or there. So it's just going to be fun. And I guess also the thing is, since I made it, that means that I can kind of take a vacation from streaming for an additional 2 days, which is also very nice.
We've only got one game really, and I mean it hasn't been too much of a game, so we've been keeping ourselves entertained. Hikaru, do you know that in the last game, are you aware there was a crazy blunder? Did you see that?
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I think I just forgot that there was G takes F5. I only calculated rook b6, king b6. Yeah, I completely forgot that existed. But I mean, you know, I think the thing is though, Le Quang, I mean, he really misplayed that end game. And I know he was still winning even towards the end, but the way that he traded down the pawns was just insane, for lack of a better way of putting it. Because if he keeps, like, even if he keeps the pawns on e3, f4, g4, there's some point where he can just give up e3 or give up e3 and f3 and run the king to b6, and it's a very easy win. So I mean, it was very, very strange. But yeah, rook b6 is just, I mean, absurd that I just forgot he could play gf5. I mean,
don't worry.
Forgot.
So did we. Everybody forgot.
Yeah,
because you're saying that when he played f5, that was wrong.
Well, I mean, so the basic point that I would say here is if you look at the black pawns and you look at the white pawns, just the king side, ignore a4 and a5. Like, those pawns are protected by the 2 rooks. At this point, if you give up the g pawn, there's still, I mean, there's a passed h pawn, but it's going to take a lot of time to get that pawn up the board. So what I didn't understand was why Le Quang was so worried, and he pushed f5. So I think if he goes king f3, king e4, there's some way that he surely can get his king in. And even if he loses the g pawn, it shouldn't really matter. So I thought f5 was, I mean, it's still winning after f5, but it's a very big technical mistake, because after f5, you know, it's getting rid of an extra pawn. The less pawns are on the king side, the easier it becomes a draw, because they're only the 2 a pawns.
We were trying to figure out what he should do. I mean, obviously, trade a pair of rooks would be nice.
I would go king f3, just king f3.
And
I think I played like rook a3. Yeah, it was like rook a3, king e4, rook d7. Sorry, I'm watching the broadcast, obviously. Like rook d7. And right about here, the thing is, I can't go rook d3 because then just a6 wins. So I think now he can just go rook b5 back. And again, I don't really see what I'm doing. Actually, wait, not even rook b5. He has a6 right there, doesn't he? Instead of rook b5, just a6.
Oh, and rook a5, and that's even worse.
Yeah. I mean, I know that that he definitely could have run his king in without doing anything with those 3 pawns. But yeah, I mean, it was very strange that he played f5. Someone in chat said after f5 e5 was a draw. Maybe it is, but I felt very concerned about that. For whatever reason.
Oops.
But yeah,
I clicked on a square.
By the way, what is? Magnus can just force a draw with knight b5, knight d6.
Yeah, it just ended. It is over. It ended in a draw. Yeah.
Ooh, ouch.
Brutal. And apparently Magnus could have even played rook takes c6. And king b5.
Oh, and king b5 and king b6.
And
Ooh, wow.
Yeah, but
brutal.
I mean, beating Magnus with black would have been pretty difficult.
Yeah.
Well, that concludes another day of exciting chess for a few people and sad chess for a few other people. I'm not gonna lie. Wow, today Liem probably had the most exciting day of any player that didn't qualify, because Wesley So did not have a fun day, Ali Reza did not have a fun day, and Timur just never really got a chance against Magnus. I mean,
yeah, I mean, sometimes you have good tournaments, sometimes you don't. I mean, you look at Timur, he had he was really solid, had a great event. The one that he won, I forgot what it was called. But he played really well in that one. And then like here, it wasn't great. You look at Wesley. I alluded to this yesterday, but it's funny how like with Wesley, if you go back maybe a month and a half or 2 tournaments ago, Wesley was like the hottest thing in the world. You know, everyone's expecting him to win the tour, you know, contend with Magnus. And now he's had 2 bad events in a row. He lost to Anish in the last one, and now he loses to Levon here. And suddenly, you know, as I said yesterday, it's like, you know, what have you done for me lately? Like, just like, you know, it's crazy how the tides shift based on like 1 or 2 tournaments.
Definitely some recency bias, but
curious, actually, just on that note, maybe a very final question. Hikaru, do you feel when you start a tournament, like immediately on the first day, do you kind of feel, oh, I'm in good shape or I'm in bad shape, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's actually really important. Pairings obviously matter a lot too, but I think certainly if you play against some of the players who are lower rated on the first day and you don't get off to a fast start, the pressure builds a lot more. And I've done pretty well, I think, on every first day, and so I've had pretty good optimism, or I felt very positive about things. I think though, if you don't start off well on the first day, it can definitely manifest in the rest of the tournament. Like Wesley had a really bad first day. I think he got a little bit lucky even to win his final game against Shaq, I believe, where he had 2 points out of 5. But I think from the get-go, Wesley's someone who's very solid. You can kind of tell when he's there or when things are going well and when things aren't going well. And I think that probably affected him. I mean, it seemed like he wasn't playing his best chess overall here.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I think we'll call it a day. And today was a lot of fun, and we'll be back tomorrow with the